You have to squeeze it in.
On policy review, yeah.
Like I said, I'll probably meet her out there.
Yeah.
We have 6 chairs right up here. Keep moving in.
Where you sat in church, right?
Thank you. All the way up front, sir. Wow. Are you ready? Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. I recognize that we have a quorum present. All members are in attendance. I do know that we have an amendment to this evening's agenda. Could I have a motion? Yes, sir.
And also,
I'll second that motion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. I have a motion and a second to amend this evening's agenda. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the amendments, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. I have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. And so we will proceed. Mrs. Elkins, would you start us off, please?
Lily, would you like to come up and join me? Can you come up and join me? Come on up. It's okay. I promise.
Bruce?
Yep. Just come up with me.
This is Corey. Lily.
Think we've ever had that happen.
Well, there's always a first, right?
It's Monday.
It's like,
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we're going to introduce Lily to you tonight, and she's in Mr. Brown's class. So Mr. Brown came this evening to join us, and he had nothing but great things to say about you. He said that you brighten his day every day in the classroom. You're an active participant. Do you know what that means? It means you always help with the discussion, you stay on task, you do what you need to do. And the most important thing, Mr. Brown says that you show kindness in the room. So, Mr. Brown, what would you like to add to that? Exactly. Well, you like to do a lot of extra things. What's your favorite thing to do when you're not in school? Do you know?
Play with my brother.
Play with your brother. Family is very
Yeah.
important, isn't it? And that's the best thing that you can say. You are highly successful in school, and we are so proud of you tonight. And Mr. Brown showed up just to let you know how proud we are of you tonight as a second grade student of the month. And of all the students in our school, you're the only one that is a student of the month for January. So I'd like to introduce to you Lily tonight. Nice job. Here's your award, and look, it has your name on it. And then there's a very special letter for you. And we are very proud of you tonight. Do a good job. All right, thank you.
Mr. Linton?
I'm supposed to do both of those right now, right? Okay. All right, I see it. Well, Mrs. Melick wasn't able to be here tonight, but I'm happy to fill in for her. For the month of January, our student of the month is Macy Mescal. You come on up. We always ask our teachers to write a few notes about each student, and I have page after page, and I've tried to condense it down to one page, but I'm still going to try to be thorough so that we can describe how awesome Macy is. We asked her, what does it take to be successful in school? And she said that she needs to be kind to others, get all of her work done on time. She said her favorite subject was math. And I was like, well, why math? And she's two reasons. I like the teacher and I like the people in there, my friends, I think you said were in there. It says she enjoys playing with her sister and being with her family. And in the future, Macy would like to be a lineman. And I've not met her dad before, I'm sure I saw this close. He could show you how to do that. Sounds like a good plan. So I'm going to read a few notes of what the teachers had to say about Macy. It says Mrs. Brannigan, she's the fifth grade ELA teacher. She's here tonight as well. She says Macy is an impressive young lady. She's hardworking, conscientious student who gives her best every day. She completes her work promptly. And when she finishes her assignments, she helps other students as well. So that's cool. Mrs. Fiddler, that's the math teacher for fifth grade. Macy is one of the hardest working students in the fifth grade. She's always prepared for class and completes her work on time. Macy asks great questions and is very helpful to her peers. And more than anything, Macy does not allow a challenge to discourage her. And I appreciate how she leads by example in and outside of the classroom. And then Mrs. Sullivan, she just got here. She's standing outside. She is the science and social studies teacher. She also helps with CCYFL basketball as well. Is that right? And I think you help Macy with that. Anyway, she says that she can speak firsthand how awesome Macy is. Macy shows perseverance and a positive attitude. No matter if she's in the classroom or on the basketball court, she always gives her best effort. She's a great example for us all. So this is Macy, fifth grade student of the month. For you. Your picture says picture. All right, I get the pleasure to do staff of the month as well. January staff of the month is Mrs. Fiddler from the fifth grade. She teaches math. Grade 2.
You have to come up.
Oh yeah, come on up. So anyway, Mrs. Fiddler is an outstanding teacher. She is an advocate for both staff members and students. When faced with a problem, she's always focused on what the best solution could be and is willing to make changes in order to accomplish the goal. As students transition from the middle to the middle school from the elementary, Mrs. Fiddler offers a firm but understanding personality that helps her students. And I think most of her students would agree with that. Firm is a good thing in the middle school. Mrs. Fiddler's classroom is a place where students are working on individual goals as well as a whole group. Mrs. Fiddler is always willing to try any instructional strategy that she feels will benefit a student and is willing to adjust in real time based on the needs of the class that's in front of her. Her math students can show me the skills that they have learned and are often excited to show me their most recent project or newly mastered concept. In her classroom, you will see students who are collaborative, willing to try hard things, and confident in their ability because of the scaffolding of skills that Mrs. Fiddler provides them. I know when I step into her classroom, once a week or whatever else, I just peek my head in the window. If you stand around and watch long enough, you will learn something. I know math has changed a lot. I walk in, you're like, well, this is just fifth grade math. This can't be too hard. But when you watch it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe these kids are. This is not how I learned it. So I know she makes it very simple for how complex it can be. So we appreciate Mrs. Fiddler helping our math team.
Very good. Mr. Stoltz?
This is Zayden Knight. He's a 10th grader at Cloverdale High School, and he came in with 2 roses. Now, who are the roses you brought with you?
That is my grandmother Rose, and then my great grandmother Mary.
Mary and Rose. Okay. Zayd's a 10th grader, like I said. His favorite subject is geometry, and he's going to take that because he'd like to pursue a degree in robotics at Purdue University. He is a solid student. He loves baseball. He's bat bags with him every day. I don't know if he practices, but he likes carrying it. No, which is good. He's also in the band. He is. You'll learn later on. He talk about practicing, so he does take his skills very seriously. He's a cumulative honor student. He has been introduced and welcomed to be up here tonight by Mr. Metzger, his band director, as well as Mr. Williams, math teacher at the high school. Mr. Boyett said, I have Zayden in my 6th period. He is attentive, motivated, and actively involved in class discussions and activities. Very well-deserved student of the month. And Mr. Metzger, his band director, had this to say about Zayden. He's an excellent student and always a pleasure to have in class. He practices. That's tough to get kids to do all the time. And plays and has a great attitude and a great sense of humor. Congratulations, Zayden. Mr. Snip said Zayden is a quirky, fun student. He says that about a lot of people. He says about me too. But he's also a good student, as indicated by his completion of work in a timely and effective manner. He's a good dude. Okay. Mr. Williams, last but not least, had this to say about Zayden. It's been a pleasure to have in class. He always is paying attention, always on task, and his intelligence, work ethic, and preparation shine through his results. He was my top performing students in honors geometry and is a role model for other students. And for that to be said, congratulations for a high school student of the month for January, Zayden Knight. Wait. We'll get a picture here in a second. Take this. Take that a little bit. I'll get a second picture, okay? Thank you.
To the 3 students who are students of the month, hang on. I'll say something while it's on my brain. Thank you for working hard, okay? And thank you for your parents and your family members who've come to support you. Nothing is more important than the family support a child receives. And Jaden, you got a chance to come back. You got 2 more years. And to Macy and Lily, as you move up the system, we hope to have you back too. And so next on our list, I know that I don't know you. I'm sorry. Sergeant Warren is here tonight instead of Roger. So proceed, please.
Be here tonight, so you get to see me. At the Cloverdale Police Department, we like to do a Citizens Award.
I get it.
And basically what that is the elementary and the middle school get together and they choose one student. And for our elementary, Mr. Liam Bernard and Mrs. Burnett's 3rd grade class. Ms. Burnett said Liam does anything he's asked with zero complaints and is always willing to help his classmates. He is honest and works hard. I appreciate his kindness and go with the flow demeanor. This is for you, sir. For the middle school is Aaliyah Christilis. Aaliyah is always putting forth her best effort in class, and she always has a smile on her face. She cares about others, students' well-being, and she is one of the most respectful students we have upstairs. Working with Aaliyah has been a great experience, and we know her future here at Cloverdale is bright. You're welcome.
To Liam and Aaliyah, citizenship and being of good character is something that translates into any career, and you're well on your way to being successful young adults, and keep it up and be role models for everyone, children and adults alike. At this point in time, we will dismiss students and parents and friends or grandparents, great grandparents to the outer office. Mr. Stoltz is out there to take pictures. And if you choose to come back in for the remainder of the meeting, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, feel free to go about your Monday evening activities. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Thank you. You are too.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The audio is all good, but on the live stream, could not hear the amendment. She's not here, but she says the audio is all good now, but on the live stream, did not hear the amendment at all. But I assume it's okay. Apparently, on his own. The microphone. He's fine. And our NASCAR audio and video.
It's gonna be so full out there that we're gonna take the
I was
pictures.
going to say it's going to be crowded out there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Jamie, would you pull that door shut or Ethan, either one? Since Jamie was up, I was going to make him do the work. Thank you, sir. At this point in time, it is the public's time to speak to the board concerning agenda items. I note that we have 3 people who have registered their intent to participate. Each of you will be given 3 minutes to speak to your topic. And for our records and for a public meeting, you do need to state your full name and full address before beginning your 3 minutes. The first person on the list is Brian Cummings.
4248 East A Road 42, Cloverdale, Indiana. I know you guys know I'm here. It's gonna be pretty hard for me. It's been on 3 days. Jill, Miss Schreiber, she's my sister. She's part of 4th generation graduate here from Cloverdale. She represented her family from Frankfurt to come back and teach at Cloverdale. Teach kids from her hometown. Watch the next generation grow over a small town. That was with the prior administration. Not so much now. The kids and parents all love Jill. She would bend over backwards for every student to make sure they had everything to succeed. Jill, Miss Schreiber, was set up to fail, teaching 2 grade levels, special education class, and a health class, with no aid because she was fired. Will the next teacher have this big a workload? I know you guys can't answer that, so I'll say it. Probably not. Jill was accused of stuff that wasn't even happening. And I know you guys all got packets, so you can read it for yourself. I do have questions for you. How many teachers have joined the union since this administration? How many teachers have been fired? How many aides have been let go? Questions you, the board, should be asking. Big time. Asking. I don't even have kids in the middle school, but I do have the 5th generation starting at Cloverdale. They are in Cloverdale right now. I coach football here. I coach baseball here. I don't coach basketball. I help to coach. I'm a 4th generation graduate. So this is going to get kind of sticky. So just before the holidays, your principal, with no people skills, no leadership skills, no personality, fired her. And then I went to our superintendent with no backbone. Wouldn't go against her because it wouldn't look good. I don't care what it looks like. It's what's right. Seems to me the board has overlooked it also. Things need to change. Things need to change quickly. And it starts with you guys. So do better. Do better for Cloverdale schools. I want the 5th generation to graduate from here. As of right now, it's probably not going to happen.
Next is Savannah Smith.
My name is Savannah Smith. My address is 177 Ivy Court, Cloverdale. What I'm about to share may be dismissed as the words of a disgruntled former employee. And while I acknowledge I am frustrated, I'm also the parent of a child with an IEP who was a student of Ms. Schreiber's. I have experienced what has happened at the middle school from both perspectives, as an employee and as a parent. What I have witnessed is deeply concerning. I worked alongside Ms. Schreiber for a year and a half and can speak firsthand to how exceptional she is at her job. In many ways, she's too good at her job. She took me under her wing, mentored me, and shared her extensive knowledge with me. Because of her influence, I had been accepted to a program to pursue a teaching degree in special education prior to my termination. However, this experience with the current administration has been eye-opening, and I'm now reconsidering that path. The way that Ms. Schreiber has been treated by this administration for excelling in her role is not the future I want for myself. Ms. Schreiber and I shared a classroom, and we worked closely together to ensure our students received appropriate accommodations as required by law, and IA may only provide accommodations under the direct supervision of a licensed teacher. However, when I was moved upstairs into a room staffed only by IAs without a licensed teacher present and was frequently pulling students, I was later terminated for allegedly not providing appropriate accommodations. This contradiction is troubling to me. Currently, there's an unqualified substitute filling Ms. Schreiber's position. These students require a licensed special education teacher, someone trained not only to support them academically, but also socially and emotionally. When I was reassigned this school year as a 7th grade IA, I was no longer working alongside a special education teacher as I had with Ms. Schreiber. Instead, I was working alone, attempting to support all 7th grade students with IEPs and additional needs. I consistently advocated for students who were not receiving adequate support. On one occasion, when I sought assistance from the special education teacher regarding a student, I was told, "I think you've done all you can," accompanied by a shoulder shrug. I have since been informed that the same individual is now my son's teacher of record following Ms. Schreiber's departure. As a parent, that is not the level of advocacy or dedication I want for my child. As an employee, I would never stop fighting for my students' success. Unfortunately, these are the very educators who genuinely care for and advocate for students, the ones who go above and beyond, who are being pushed out. Ms. Schreiber and I worked extremely well together, but we were separated when new leadership arrived and ultimately forced out altogether. We are not the first, and we will not be the last if this continues. Last year, an IA was terminated shortly after returning from medical leave. Another IA chose not to return this school year due to mistreatment by a colleague and the administration. Additionally, at least 3 special education students have left the middle school for alternative education this year alone. The middle school is losing outstanding staff and students, not because of a lack of dedication or ability, but because of how the administration is choosing to operate.
Next is Kristen Geyer.
21 Quincy Road, Quincy, Indiana 47456. I'm here as a parent with a student with an IEP at Cloverdale. I'm here tonight because what is happening in this district is no longer a misunderstanding or a mistake. It's a pattern. And now the removal of Mrs. Jill Schreiber, our 5th and 6th grade speed teacher and 7th grade health teacher, and Miss Savannah Smith, the 7th grade speed aide, is just the latest example of that pattern. These were not minor secondary staff members. These were people delivering federally mandated service to our children. Removing them in the middle of the school year with no transparency, no transition plan, and no regard for the students who depend on them. That is not just irresponsible, it is harmful. And let's be honest, this district has a long history of failing to follow IUPs, ignoring parent complaints, and then gaslighting families when we push back. I have filed 2 formal complaints with the state and am preparing a third. Each time, instead of addressing the violations, the administration has tried to deflect, minimize, or blame the child. In my case, they were even attempting to mislabel my daughter to cover up their own noncompliance. That is not an accident, that is a tactic. And I am not the only parent who has experienced this. I am simply one of the few who refuses to be intimidated. Families in this community are openly advising each other to pull their children from Cloverdale and enroll in South Putnam because South Putnam is providing the support that Cloverdale is legally required to provide but continually fails to deliver. When your own families are warning each other to leave the district, that is not a rumor, that is now a reputation. I hold an MSW and an MBA. I understand my child's rights, and the district failed to follow her IEP during our first year here, removing her from her resource room, denying services, and allowing teachers to override her accommodations. I educated myself through InSource, but parents should not have to become experts in special education law just to ensure their children receive what federal law already guarantees. What concerns me even more is the internal structure of this district. We have individuals in high-level administrative roles with minimal experience, limiting license, and in some cases, direct family connections to board members. When you combine inexperience, personal relationships, and a lack of accountability, you get exactly what we are seeing now: retaliation against teachers, retaliation against parents, and a complete disregard for the needs of IEP students. The loss of Ms. Schreiber and Ms. Smith is devastating. These were the people who actually showed up for our kids. The removal sends a clear message. If you advocate for IEP students, you are disposable. I am asking this board to stop pretending everything is fine. It is not fine. It has not been fine. And families are tired of being dismissed, ignored, and gaslighted. I will continue advocating for my child, and I will continue helping other families understand their rights. And I will continue filing complaints every single time this district violates the law, because someone has to hold this administration accountable. But I hope this board chooses to act before more families leave, more teachers walk away, and more children lose the support they depend on.
Thank you. Proceeding to item C, board organization. This is a required process by Indiana law for the first meeting in January. We'll open the floor for election of officers first, nomination of president.
I nominate Vivian Whitaker. Oh, I'll move nominations be closed. I'll second.
I have a motion to nominate myself as president, and a second on that motion. I have a proper motion to close the nomination and second the motion. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the nomination, please raise your right hand. Motion carried 6-0, and I will be abstaining. Next, we'll open the floor for nomination of vice president.
I nominate Mike Reitmeyer for vice president.
Yes.
I'll second.
That was Donna, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move that the nominations be closed. I'll second.
I have a nomination for Mike Reitmeyer to become the vice president. It has been properly nominated and seconded. I also have a proper motion and second to close the nominations. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the nomination, please raise your right hand. You abstaining? Motion carried 6-0-1. Next, nomination of secretary.
I nominate Donna Fiddler, secretary. I motion to close the. I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to nominate Donna Fiddler as our secretary and a proper second. I also have a proper motion and second to close the nomination. Um, all in favor of Donna Fiddler for secretary, please raise your right hand. Abstaining, motion carried 6-0-1. I thank you on my personal behalf and on those also for Mike and John. Next, we need to establish the board meeting dates at time. We are recommending that we still continue to meet on the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to establish the meetings, dates, and times for the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. We have a proper motion to remain current meeting dates and time. Are any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we have a motion to establish our board compensation at $2,000 a year with an additional $75 for each meeting outside of the regular board meeting.
I motion to approve the compensation of $2,000 a year with an additional $75 for each outside of the regular board meeting.
I'll second. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. I have a motion and a second to keep the board compensation at $2,000 a year with an addition of $75 for each meeting outside the regular meeting. For public consumption, the legislature changed the law on this. It's been more than 20 years since the board compensation has been at $2,000 a year. We could increase our compensation to 10% of what the beginning teaching salary is, which would be $4,830. We thought that to be an excessive jump, but due to the fact that we will be hiring a new superintendent and we have a couple of work sessions on items that are coming up, we are going to add a stipend for those meetings. So that is our rationale. Are there any other discussion or questions at this point in time? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we need to appoint a corporation treasurer, being Mindy Shrout, and a deputy treasurer as Sarah Zering.
I motion to appoint corporation treasurer as Mindy Shrout and deputy treasurer as Sarah Zering.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. Thank you, Mrs. Haltom. I have a motion and a second to appoint Mindy Shrout as our corporation treasurer and Sarah Zering as our deputy treasurer. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we need to appoint a corporation attorney as Michelle Cooper with the Lewis and Kappas Law Firm and Tim Shelley with Warwick and Boyne.
I'll make a motion to appoint the corporation attorney Michelle Cooper with Lewis and Capps Law Firm and Tim Shelley with Warwick and Boyne.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. I have a motion and a second to appoint Michelle Cooper and Tim Shelley as our corporation attorneys. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we move on to routine matters. We have a request to approve the minutes for the executive and regular sessions held on December 8th, 2025.
I'll second.
Was that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mann. Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the meetings held on December the 8th. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, Mr. Linton, approval of the claims and financial reports.
Requesting the board to approve claims since our last board meeting, in addition to 2 payrolls in the amount of $2,455,061.71.
Make a motion to approve the claims and financial reports.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. I have a motion and a second to approve the claims and financial reports as presented. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. We have no old business, so we will move on to new business. Request approval to hire a temporary transportation director assistant.
Our current transportation director, Joel Kennelly, is off on FMLA for some surgery, and he'll be off for a couple of months. So in the interim, I'm requesting the board to hire Charlie Mons as our temporary transportation director, who will assist in driving roads and assisting buses when they're broke down and things like that.
I make a motion to approve to hire the temporary transportation director assistant.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fidler. Thank you, Mrs. Haltom. I have a motion and a second to approve hiring a temporary transportation director assistant. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we have a request to approve mileage reimbursement.
The federal rate for mileage has increased to 72.5 cents per mile from the previous 70 cents. And I'm requesting permission from the board to reimburse employees for the new rate amount when they turn mileage in.
Motion to approve the mileage reimbursement.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. I have a motion and a second to approve the increase in the mileage reimbursement. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, request approval of a Chromebook responsibility and financial liability policy.
Requesting the board to approve this policy to be sent home to parents and also to be included in student handbooks next year at the beginning of the school year. Basically, what the policy does is to outline specifically what will happen when there's damage or loss at the fault of the student. We've had an increase, an uptick in destruction to those devices, and we just want to clarify for parents and students what their responsibility are and what the legal liability is for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the Chromebook responsibility and financial liability policy.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Haltom. Thank you, Mrs. Fidler. I have a motion and a second to approve the Chromebook responsibility and financial liability policy as presented. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we request approval of the 25 through 27 Title II grant approval and acceptance.
In your board packet, you'll see some documents that Mrs. Ames included for our Title II grant approval in the amount of $47,563.48. We recommend board's acceptance of this grant.
A motion to request approval of the 25-27 Title II grant. I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. I have a motion and a second to approve and accept the 25 to 27 Title II grant. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we have a request to approve compensation for the Clover Cafe students.
So we have a small group of students have agreed to learn the coffee industry in our Cloverdale cafe, and in order to encourage more participation, Mr. Stoltz has requested $30 for each student for each time they complete a shift in our cafe of an evening during a sporting event or other ECA activities. And it seems like that's very fair, and we do appreciate not only our staff, but then our students who are willing to learn that craft, and then also to be present and make coffee for us when we're at ball games.
All right, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the Clover Cafe student compensation.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. Thank you, Mrs. Haltom.
I have a question.
Sure.
I know it said in there that they could only work one shift a day, but how many can they work in a week? I might have missed it.
I mean, we're open at the maximum 3 times a week.
3 times. Okay, thank you.
I have a motion and a second to approve the student compensation for the Clover Cafe. Are there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we have a request to approve the acceptance of grants and donations for the elementary school and the high school.
Yes, we have one donation for the elementary and 4 from the community for the high school that we would request the board to approve this evening.
I'll make a motion to approve the acceptance of the grants and donations for CES and CHS. And as always, I like to say thank you.
Mhm.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. I have a motion and a second to accept the grants and donations for our CES and CHS as presented. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we have a request to approve cash for transfer ins.
We have one transfer in that we're requesting the board to approve this evening for a high school student.
A motion to approve the cash transfer in student.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. I have a motion and a second to approve the cash transfer in. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, approval of professional leaves.
We have 11 professional leave requests for the board to review and approve this evening. All of the leave requests meet board policy.
I'll make a motion to approve professional leaves.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Halton. Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. I have a motion and a second to approve professional leave requests as presented. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, approval of field trips.
Have 5 field trips that the board has reviewed, and we're just requesting again approval for those trips. Again, they all meet board policy. And
Motion to approve the field trips.
I'll second.
is that you, Emily? Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. Thank you, Mrs. Halton. I have a motion and a second to approve the field trips as presented. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, approval of facility use requests.
we have 6 of those on the docket this evening, all outside vendors or groups outside of 2 of those. So we request the board to approve those this evening.
Make a motion for approval of facility use requests.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. Thank you, Mr. Mann. I have a motion and a second to approve the facility use request as presented. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we have a request to approve personnel.
I request the board to approve personnel as outlined in your board packet this evening.
Make a motion for approval of personnel.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Reitmeyer. Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler. I have a motion and a second to approve personnel as presented. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next, board and superintendent comments.
This evening, I've asked Mrs. Ames to make a couple of brief comments on some of the information she provided in the board packet concerning federal accountability and student scores and things like that. We had some questions from some board members this morning, so I thought give her a chance. The other thing too is it'll be brief comments tonight, but probably schedule a presentation sometime in the near future as we learn more.
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to be on tape or
Yeah,
whatever.
in my activity report, as you saw, I mentioned that federal accountability that came out. It's not so much our grades anymore. We, as also has been discussed in the DOE this year, we are going to be getting accountability grades from the state of Indiana. But the difference between the federal accountability and just our proficiency, our pass-fail rates on iLearn is that it really breaks everything down specific students. It helps us to also see what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong with different groups of students. It's not that overall proficiency. It breaks it down so much that in order to actually count towards our federal accountability, our students have to be actually our students for at least 162 days. So, if they only enroll for half the year, they don't go into that federal accountability. We look at growth for our bottom 25% and our top 75%. And what growth did they make enough growth from one grade level to the next? And that's both in language arts and in math. And when we do a growth, we only look at our 4th grade through our 8th grade because our 3rd graders don't have any growth. It's the first time that they're actually taking any tests. So it's really different from just a breakdown of scores and percentages per student. It helps us really get deeper and understand what we're doing within our schools. What are some of the things that we need to change, and what we can do better? But I have a 1-pager that I'll give to you if you really want it. That kind of breaks things down. I didn't create it, but it's pretty good. Maybe I should take credit for creating it. I shouldn't have told you that part, should I? But that kind of breaks it down in more of a pie chart where you can see some things. So a lot more math goes into these accountabilities, which in the same way when we get our grade from the DOE, which may not be this year. That's kind of on hold for a little bit right now. But when we get that, it'll be able to break it down specifically also for our students.
If you prepared it, I'll take a copy.
I'll give you a
Okay.
copy. Yeah.
Well,
I
I've been
prepared it by
researching.
copying it off. It's something that I found. But yes, I will
I've been
get back to
researching
you.
scores lately to track things, so
Yep.
I would appreciate that.
I
Thank
sure
you.
will. I'll give you all one at the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else?
I do not.
At this point in time, we will adjourn our regular session at 7:49 p.m. We are going into our annual finance meeting, so I will call it to order at 7:49 p.m. The first item under business is the election of officers. First is nomination of president. I nominate Vivian Whitaker for president. I'll move that nominations be closed. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Fiddler, Mr. Mann, and Mrs. Lewis. We have a nomination of myself as president. It has been properly moved and seconded, and that the nomination is closed and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Oop, sorry. The motion carried 6-0, and I will abstain. Next is nomination of secretary. I nominate Donna Fiddler for secretary.
I'll second.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis, Mrs. Haltom, Mr. Mann, and Mr. Reitmeyer. We have properly nominated Donna Fiddler as secretary and seconded that motion, and has been properly moved that nominations be closed and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Abstaining. Motion carried 6-0 and 1 abstention. Next is as required by law, we need to review the school corporation investments.
Yep. Okay, so you can see that on the document that I passed out, we have 3 school investments. The first one with First National is just essentially our general checking account, and it's obviously substantially larger, but that has all of our funds, whether it's state, local, and then federal grants and all of those kinds of things. So on December 31st, we had $8.9 million, a little over that, in that account. Obviously, over to the far right-hand side, you can see what the interest rates are that we've negotiated with First Financial and then Everwise, which used to be the Teachers Credit Union out of Greencastle. And then the First National Construction, that's from some older construction bonds that we've had. There's $3,200 in there. With this new project coming up, that'll be the first $3,200 we spend, just to zero that out. But then we'll have another account from the new bond. I think we started out with $300,000 in, excuse me, that. You can look at this report goes back to December of 2021, where the school district in interest earning was just a little over $23,000 to today, or December 31st, at $516,000, almost $517,000. So the fact that the rates are creeping up, I can't really take any credit for it other than keeping it in the bank. But obviously we have some, we've been able through some fiscal management to be able to make some significant investments, which also generates good interest earnings for the school district. The $516,000 goes right back into the education fund, pay teacher salaries and things like that. Any questions? Or?
Thank you. Good job.
No, excellent. As you can see, we are in very good financial shape. Are there any other comments or discussion that we need to have about the finance meeting? Hearing none, we'll adjourn this meeting at 7:53. And we thank you all for coming. Have a safe evening. And let's hope we don't get any more snow.
It's coming.
It's coming.
We don't want more snow.
No, we do not.
Just get it out of the way.
But then more will just come later. Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you.
See, the good thing is you don't have to do anything unless you do.